Well, the time has come. It is opening night of Halloween Horror Nights Orlando 2025. This is HHN 34. I'm very excited for tonight. I'm very nervous. I'm by myself currently. Might have meeting up with some people later, but my first couple houses might be by myself. That's not normal, so I'm a little spooked, but I'm excited for this year. I'm hearing good things. Everything that's been announced this year, all the houses and stuff, relatively do interest me other than WWE. That's my least anticipated, but hopefully it does still end up being a good house. Scare zones look good, food looks good, but otherwise we're heading inside.
I'm Sergio Navarro, el artista. Por favor, heed my warning. The conservatory before you conceals a more sinister truth. It is the birthplace for the origins of horror. Every stroke of a paintbrush, every word written, every statue carved breathes life to a new nightmare. I am haunted by visions of terrors to come, 5 nights of torment, terrifying works of art, a masked killer in the shadows. The fallout from passing through those gates will be your soul, tu alma, and once inside, you'll be left with no choice but to let them in. I have to be the canvas that cannot be contained with each stroke of my brush, the origins of horror. Break through the fog. Halloween Horror Nights. Beware of what's to come. Una noche de terror, a night of true horror awaits you.
This year's Halloween Horror Nights has now officially started. A decent opening ceremonies. Again, it's a little weird this year. They never officially announced it, but the artist around the house, that is Artista, is Semi the icon, so he does the narration for the opening ceremonies. Great opening ceremonies. I like the little smoke bombs that they shoot off, and there was some fire that I kind of caught at the end of it. It was very hot. Unimaginably hot, actually. It was you'd actually almost singe my armpit hairs, and I wasn't even that close. Decent opening ceremony, so definitely not my favorite, but I always like the chainsaws, and I always think it's a great opener to the night. We're heading towards the back, but we're heading to Vampire Masquerade first, Cat Lady, and then we'll be towards the back houses right at the start of the night. And since it is still day by day, I'm going to hold any of my impressions for scare zones until a little bit later. We do have the most dying zombies out here. I've seen a couple quick videos of them. I've kept myself pretty spoiler free for the event, besides a few of the zombie clips and a few of the clips of Art walking around too. As I've said before, I'm very excited to see Hantonic. We'll definitely be seeing that at some point tonight. There's a 9, 10, 11, and 12 o'clock show. I'm sure that will be pretty permanent times, but double check definitely every night. But I'm very, very excited for that show. Next up is Cat Lady Burger Day Lane over here along the wooded pathway. I definitely think that scare zone looks pretty cool. Doesn't seem like everybody's out. I was waiting for a second to see if the stage show would happen because there's like a stage show at the Cat Lady's house. So I think that's super cool. We'll definitely be, again, checking out everything later in the night when it's actually dark, and I think that's more of the appropriate time to film everything. But again, we're heading to these back houses before that giant crowd waiting outside the front gates comes in. The crowd for Stay and Scream though, I don't know if it was because of the new way they've changed it or if it is just because of the new night or first night. It was crazy out there, dog. Like, it was like really, really busy all throughout the Stay and Scream. Like, we went back to Five Nights at Freddy's to see if we could get it in before ceremonies. It was like a 2-hour wait already. As confirmation, we've already gotten. Roaming Chainsaws are back for this year. That I think is super cool. I definitely think the Roaming Chainsaw Hordes are a good addition to bring back. It's a big fan favorite to have the Hordes. They are investing all of Springfield right now. Very curious to see what they'll do in the future because I know, well, we know that eventually they will be, you know, Springfield will be gone, so they'll have to put it somewhere else. I will say so far lines back here aren't super long, but again, most of the Stay and Scream group was up there at the front at like Five Nights at Freddy's and Terrifier and Jason and stuff, waiting for all those to open. Dolls Let's Play Dead is 10. We walked past Hatchet and is 5, but I'm actually going to meet some people back at Fallout. Currently posted 20, but we'll actually see how big the line is when we get back there. So just like last year, 2 house entrances like we talked about before, Galkan and Fallout are both back here. Galkan's currently posted at 60, Fallout 20. Obviously we also have Nightmare Fuel over there that I'm super excited for. Hearing from the people that actually that meeting back here, they were actually waiting for Galkan first because there was almost no wait for Galkan, but Fallout was over an hour. Now it's posted 20 for Fallout and 60 for Galkan. I imagine what happened was a lot of people did Fallout because it opened, I think, I want to say 5 or 5:15, and then Galkan opened at 5:45, so a lot of people did Fallout first, wrapped back around, and did Galkan immediately. Definitely a way to do it. We'll say immediately, notice some lighting rigs been put up back here for a little bit better lighting. It's good to see. Ah yes, the infamous tent. This is a great addition to this year. If you went last year and it poured on you back here with no cover, they've added a full tent over the whole queue line for both Galkan and Fallout. That I think is great because, again, if you were back here, you just got poured on. There was nothing you could do about it, and it really sucked. One other thing they did in here, in moving projectors from, usually they have them on the wall, they moved it to in here, and I imagine it's posting on that side there. They added plenty of these fans too in here, but I'm great to see this inside. But again, we're going into Fallout for my first house of the year. I do them with people now, so I'm not gonna do it first house by myself. Here's the front. Unfortunately, again, we can't film in houses. Didn't get invited by Universal. If they want to invite me next year, they can. But we can't film inside, so I'll let you know how it goes after we're out. All right, so initial first impressions of my first house, that was Fallout. This is my most anticipated house for the year. I really love the show and the game, so this was gonna be a big one for me. And I would say it mostly reached expectations. I honestly need probably another run through the house. I probably won't give my full thoughts. I won't try to list anything at this point in the season, just because we did that one during the day. Half the house, I felt like I was reaching in front of me to see where other members of my party were, because I felt like I was about to trip over them. Because I was so, when you do the stay and scream houses, or you get here right at opening, and you do the houses, you're blinded because it's daylight out. The houses are super dark. I will say there were some fun scenes in there. I'm not going to full spoil, but there was like a shootout scene where they had air effects hitting you. The makeup on the ghoul was fantastic. It looked really great on all the actors. And there's a lot of iconic scenes from the show. The one I am going to say, just a spoiler warning, is the scene through all the different ghouls in like the freezers all along that one. They're all like beyond glass and stuff, slamming on it and stuff. Super, super cool. You don't see that in a lot of houses. I wouldn't say this is very scary. I'm definitely glad I did it as my first house, and I definitely suggest this as a first house. It's definitely a good like entry one, because it's a little more zany, a little bit more goofy. They have scares that are a little bit more like silly. So definitely, if you're a little skimmish, you're a little scared of going this year, start with Fallout over here next to Galkan, because I do think it's a pretty good starter house. I will say already, it is unfathomably hot out. Sorry, still walking through the chainsaws. It is unfathomably hot out. It is, what? So make sure you drink your water when you come to this event. It is really hot. It's a lot going on. Your adrenaline's pumping. Make sure you drink your water. I just like to always say that because it gets really hot. I'm already drenched in sweat, probably already dehydrated, but we'll deal with that when we get there. Right now, I do believe we're walking to some food booths. Lines are already outrageous. We knew they were going to be. It's opening night. I think I'm personally staying here until the bitter end, so obviously this is probably a long video. We'll definitely get in as much houses tonight as possible, but I do believe we are also coming tomorrow to get in a few more, as much as possible. Here's one of the food booths. This is where the tendies are. So they have both a barbecue ranch with a bourbon barbecue sauce, and they also have a garlic parmesan one with spicy marinara. I think they look really good. I don't know if I'm gonna eat them tonight. I know at some point I want to. But again, it's very busy. Five Nights at Freddy's is already 3 hours, so it seems like a lot of people ran straight there. So I wouldn't do that. That's my immediate suggestion. Don't run straight to Five Nights at Freddy's. And just as predicted, bridge is fully done. It looks very nice now. No more questionable planks on the bottom either that move when you step on them. That's great to see. One of the new Fanta bars is over here too. I believe they have a ton of these around the park, so I'm sure we'll see them everywhere. I'm assuming it's just like alcohol, but it has like a Fanta base to it. So that's cool if you're into that. And then also, bathrooms are done over here. They actually look very clean. I like the new foliage around them. They look very like modern and stuff. Again, I anticipated all these things being open just because they need the bathrooms and the bridge for Nightmare Fuel. Speaking of which, we're going to go get in line for the first Nightmare Fuel show. We're about 45 minutes to the first show. Line is already wrapped though, all the way back into Gringotts. So this year's Nightmare Fuel is Circus of Decay. Showtimes right now are 8, 9:30, 11, and then 12:30 as the last show. Line actually wasn't as bad as we thought. They hadn't opened any of this back queue yet, so we're actually probably in a better half of the show. We're open for decent seats. Again, this is the first Nightmare Fuel of the year for normal guests other than the premium scare night or team member previews. All right, we just got out of Nightmare Fuel Circus of Decay. So to answer the burning question that I know a lot of people have, is it similar to last year? And I want to say it is, but stay with me, because I heard a lot of people saying they were worried at the first part, but then it ended up being really good. It's actually a continuation of last year. So if you remember, last year was that looping circus where he was trying to save the girl, but just never could. It's that, but it's substantially further into the loop. So like thousands of loops, he says at the beginning. So it's more decayed, everything's falling apart. There's like Grim Reapers and skeletons hanging out of things and stuff. and he's trying to find the key to save her. Will he save her? I'm not going to spoil that because this is relatively spoiler-free video. Wanted to mention, there's a few highlights of that show definitely this year. Lots more pyro. There's a lot of pyro this year, like tons of pyro. The acrobatics on the like rope, I don't know what you would call that. I know it's like rope or like kind of like curtain type material. Tons of that this year. And the main guy, he was doing a lot of that, and there was a lot of other characters doing it this year. And they even had a part where 3 of them were up on the same one at the same time. Really loved that part. Another part of this year, they have a new contortionist, and he is very gross in the best way possible. He really can move his body in some funky ways. So if you don't like that, I would definitely look away when he comes out, because there was a member of our party that did not like that kind of look of the contortionist moving parts of his body all around. I want to say, overall, great year for Nightmare Fuel. The only downside that I had a little bit with this year's Nightmare Fuel was it just didn't have as great a music, on my opinion. So that's purely my opinion. Seems to be my group's opinion too. I thought last year's themed music was very good. This one felt like they kind of threw in some random music, and I didn't love that, but it was still pretty good music overall. There was a couple songs I really liked in there. But again, don't get worried at the beginning. It starts very similarly. He comes out on stage, be like, I've been through all these loops, but then it starts switching up from there. So just bear with it. It's really great, has a great ending, has a ton of actors, so much pyro. It gets very warm in there, I will warn you. We were sweating our brains out because of all the pyro. Though now that it's nighttime, it has cooled off a little bit, and that's definitely a benefit. There's also a look over at Men in Black. They do have HHN 34 up on the side of the building. So we're walking back to Five Nights at Freddy's, top in line for that. We do have someone in our party with disability access tonight, so we've been waiting on our return time for that. We're gonna be walking through the scare zones we haven't seen though, and it is nighttime now. This is Club Horror. Again, this isn't considered a scare zone. This is considered a street experience. So that zone isn't much. Obviously, it's not a scare zone. It's a street experience. But it is a pretty fun vibe. They play a lot of different variety of songs because it is an actual DJ in there. They actually were playing K-pop Demon Hunters, I know, during team member previews. So that was super cool. But yeah, it's not much. There's not much actors or anything in it, but there are some dancers. There's a bar in the back of the zone. I think it'll be a nice place to hang out. Again, I'm really glad they're doing a lot of these street experiences. They're breaking up the dead spots of Halloween Horror Nights a lot more. Alrighty, next up is our Toxic 20s over here in New York. I just listened to the podcast for this. By the way, definitely go check out the podcast on Discover Universal. I think they add a lot of depth to the event. So check those out on like anywhere you get podcasts. I think they're really fun that they do that. that is what New York was missing last year. That is a great scare zone. I'm not sure which one I like more yet, Cat Lady or this. This is such a rich and like deep scare zone. There's so much going on. There's so many prop stages. They move stuff out in the walkways. We'll say it's a little bit of a nightmare to walk through right now, but even with the crowds, there's so many actors. Like almost every time I looked around, there was multiple. So that was really great. I love that they have so many actors. Again, they said that they were hiring more this year. It is apparent that they did. That was so deep with actors. There were so many of them. And I love to see that. They're interacting with each other, with other people. It feels very similar to 2 years ago with the Vampire Scare Zone. Vamp 69, I believe it was. It was very similar in feel, where it felt like there was characters interacting with other people, other characters. There was a lot going on. There is no seems like solid stage show, but there's multiple stages that have almost mini shows that happen on them. So I'm really loving that scare zone. My first walkthrough was great. I would love to definitely see it when it's not as busy. So interesting enough, with the 4 houses in the back, there's actually 2 entrances, one below the currently getting dismantled Rip Ride Rocket that they're currently dismantling during the day, and then they stop any construction at night for Halloween Horror Nights. But then the other entrance is obviously over there at the front, right as you walk in to the left side. And the whole corral area, I'll show it off to you when we get back here, but it is kind of all based in this back area. That does mean it's quite a little bit of a walk back here. Definitely as the event moves on, you'll get a very unique view that you usually don't get of construction, especially on coasters, of Rip Ride Rocket getting torn apart. Cranes back here with the lights up, and obviously still dismantling it. I would imagine probably about midway through Horror Nights, most of it will be gone. All right, so how the back area is working back here, we have Grave of Flesh and Terrifier in the back corner over here on the right. They do have some mobile bathrooms back here too. I do think it's funny, they are selling ponchos at the Terrifier entrance to the house, so if you're too worried about getting too wet, buy a poncho. But I've heard it doesn't get you as wet anymore. They have toned it down a little bit since team member previews. Then after a long trip all the way around the building, we come back over here next behind Hard Rock. It is quite the walk walking around here, so just keep that in mind. It is pretty decent walkage going on through these back-of-house entrances for this year's Halloween Horror Nights. Obviously, again, this is completely due to Rip Ride Rocket's construction. But WWES there. Five Nights at Freddy's here. I will say this queue line situation is nice. So they have a screen up here. We're getting the back side of it because we're in the express lane. But it is very well air conditioned in here. Even with the giant bay open, immediately walking, it feels great in here. So that's definitely a big plus with some air conditioning included in these lines. And with the ones over at Fallout and Galkan, with all the fans and it being shaded now from the rain, great setup to avoid the rain this year because that was a big problem last year. So we're finally about to enter the Five Nights at Freddy's house. We've been waiting in line for almost 25 minutes, even in Express. This is quite the Express line, obviously. They sell a lot of Express. Obviously, it's very busy tonight, but yeah, this is a crazy Express line. Definitely the longest I've ever waited in. We're about to enter Five Nights at Freddy's. So we just got out of Five Nights at Freddy's. That, again, it's based off the movie, but obviously the movie's based off the games, just like Fallout. I will say, I haven't done many houses this year. I've only done 2, but that might be the all-star this year. It is not scary at all. If you're looking for a very scary house, that will not be it. I don't think it's even remotely scary, just because a lot of the scares are kind of far from you and they're kind of orchestrated a lot of times. There is a few good ones, and low-key one of the cupcakes did get me because there's a lot of cupcakes in the boo holes. But it's a very jaw-dropping house. It has some really cool scenes. One of my only complaints is the entrance to Freddy's Fazbear's is kind of close and it's kind of hard to see the full set. And I know Hollywood's, it's line. You can see the facade the whole time you're in line through the corral. And I think that's much better than what we got. But I still really like the entrance. The first room is amazing. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler because most people have seen it by now, but they have full animatronics of Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy. And they're great looking, literally look exactly like the movie. All the puppets in the house look great, literally it's such a fun house. It has so many great scares, and there was multiple that honestly I kind of waited for. Only disappointment of the night is that one of the animatronics wasn't working, and that was a little disappointing to see. But otherwise, this is definitely a must-do, even over everything else so far. So I made my way back to the front to film this front scare zone, just so we can get, you know, all the scare zones in. Obviously, I still want to do the other two after dark. But I do love the stilt walkers over here that we saw during scare modies, the crows. I love to see the stilt walkers are back because I think they're kind of intimidating, and I think they're good in the zones. But here's the Origins of Horror. This is our front scare zone. Definitely a big improvement compared to last year. So obviously not a massive scare zone, but man, what an improvement compared to last year. I mean, last year was embarrassing to even call that a scare zone, if I'm being honest. So that year, great. One of the costumes in there, I'll just see if I can put it up on screen right now, was like a statue lady with like rebarb coming out of her face. That was really cool. Like, I really like that costume. But again, I like the statues. I like it as the intro scare zone. It feels more similar to years past, where that used to be the front scare zone in between the Minions rides. So really glad to see that back. I hope they continue with that and they don't try to do something else. Just put it in that front area. It's a great way to add to the event. So my first food item of the night I am getting now. It's gonna be the Death by Cheese Stick. It is a giant cheese stick with spicy marinara. It is at one of the Terrifier booths right over here. There is two of them. There's Clown Cafe, then like the front of the Terrifier like house entrance here. So, or the clown, when I was looking at my phone, just came right by us. If you didn't know, they do have a roaming R. They do have, I believe, 3 different ones that do roam the park. And they're seemingly allowed anywhere. That includes restaurants, shops. They just kind of go where they want. So that's your warning. He kind of hangs out everywhere. Well, when they say giant, they mean giant. This thing is huge. I don't even know if you can see. I have big hands. This thing is much longer than my hands. I thought it would be big, not this big. It's very thick too. Like it's big. I'm hoping it's really good because this could be a must-have if it is really good. But I'll let you know afterwards. This is again the Death by Cheese Stick from one of the Terrifier booths. Happy to report, Cheese Stick, huge success. I love that thing. It was massive first. Tasted really good. The breading on it was super crunchy, and I really like that. Tons of cheese inside. It's not one of those ones where you bite it and then there's like almost nothing inside. Tons of cheese inside. And then the marinara was really good. I like spicier stuff, so it wasn't super spicy. It's not enough to like light you up, but it is enough for you to taste it, and also you can definitely feel it in like the back of your throat a little bit. But if you like cheese sticks, or if you like, I don't know, cheese in general, you'll really like that. I really liked it. Well, it's currently 10:45. That means we're gonna go get a spot for Hantonic, a ghoulish journey for the 11 o'clock. Again, this is my most anticipated show, period. I'm insanely excited for it. I love the first ghoulish, and I was really sad when it broke. So excited it's back. I really hope it's as good as the other one.
Traditions. Tonight we're spinning a classic tale for those who don't scare so easily. So hold your loved ones close and lean in, because this one's to die for.
Hello. and welcome to Hantonic, a ghoulish journey. Now, please open the stereoscopic picture book that accompanies this album. Tonight's story is about to begin. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear this sound. Our story begins on this cold, dark night of All Hallows Eve, alone.
Come on down with us tonight. Don't you worry about the scary side. Take a drink, don't make a scene. I want you to come with
Something strange. A creepy tingle rising up your back. You're feeling something outside, you're bravely decide to enter a dark and decrepit house. Once inside, you soon find the most dreadful of welcoming parties is now underway. Welcome to the house of fun. Now we're come of age. Welcome to the house of fun. From the beyond have lured you into their trance. Run your brake lights. We're in the city of wonder. They gon' play nice. You're not scaring you tonight. Way you used to what you like. Train of thought on the altar. When you was born to be wise, your mind understood. This concludes the living portion of the album. Time has arrived, and you must learn what to do now that you are dead.
blah, blah, blah. Get out.
It's as beautiful as the day I lost her. I love Ghoulish. I really think it makes this event feel complete. Hantonic is basically the same. It's a Ghoulish journey, and it's just called Hantonic above it. So it's got a lot of the same animations. It's got a couple different songs throughout it. Definitely the ending was new. The Fear of the Reaper part definitely fits the year a little bit better. I really think this show makes the event feel complete. Even if you're not watching it, running around the park just adds so much atmosphere, and I love what how they used all the new lighting systems that they installed for that new nighttime show here at Universal. So they upgraded the show a ton. Looks great. It's such a vibe of a show, and I really suggest that you spend the 12 minutes that it is to watch it at some point in the night. You don't necessarily need a great spot. There's a lot of great spots in there. So just show up right before the show and enjoy the 12 minutes. I really think it's worth your time here. And again, I'm so happy we have a nighttime show back. So we're heading to Terrifier next, but I am going to take you guys through a nighttime walk of Vampire Masquerade. Well, wait times have definitely gone down now it's getting later. El Artista is only 35 minutes. Way better than the 2 hours it was earlier. It did open about an hour and a half late, so it kind of makes sense that it kind of got flooded. Unfortunate to see that it did open so late into the night, but I have heard they have a lot of special effects in there and it might have been having some problems. But next up, Terrifier. We have to walk back into the pits of despair back here. Sorry, I fully forgot to take a picture of the front house or like a quick clip. Terrifier. Rumors are true. It does smell like caca in there pretty badly. I don't have a super sensitive sniffer, so I probably wasn't affected as others, but it has that smell. If you remember Monstrose last year with the bird scene, it's that same smell. It's their like rotting, decayed corpse smell almost all throughout that entire house. And then there's a whole like bathroom scene. It does reek in there, like straight pooty. Like it's pretty bad. So if you are sensitive to that stuff, I would probably try to avoid Terrifier. But I actually really like the house. It felt incredibly long. I don't know if we were moving slow or something, but I felt like we were in there for a hot minute. So that was good. The scares were pretty good. There was one right at the beginning. I'm not going to tell you what it was. That scared the crap out of me. And some of the other scares throughout the house got me, but that was definitely my #1 scare of the night. But the overall vibe was good. The art actors are honestly just terrific, and I imagine they'll even get better throughout the year. The way they interact with you inside the house. My brother got scared by one, and then he looked at me and then gave me like a little wave. It's a really fun house. I will warn you, even if you don't go on the wet side, there is a decent amount of water effects in there. Not enough to get you like wet, but it is enough to spray you throughout some different sections. I did do the dry path. We had a couple members of our party do the wet path, but I have camera equipment on me tonight, so I didn't want to do that. I'll definitely do it at some point. Definitely not as wet as team members were getting during team member preview, but it is enough that they were visibly wet to a decent degree. Like it wasn't like they were soaked, but they were wet. So keep that in mind when you're doing that, if that interests you or not. Well, I thought we'd make our way over here to Cat Lady one more time because the last time we filmed it was during the day. So I thought we'd get a nighttime filming when all the actors are out. Loving how the scare zone looks at night though immediately.
Come, my child. It's cats. Oh, just a sip, just a taste. Yes. Every bottle is filled. Oh my. Bless your heart. There's water on the table. Make sure to wash it all down. You just weak as a kitten.
I will say, this is the first time I feel like in a while that I actually am pretty conflicted on what my favorite scare zone is immediately. There's a lot of great ones. Vampire Masquerade's very gory and has a lot going on. Toxic 20's had a million and a half things going on. But the Cat Lady one just has so much cool effects. And I love that when you're walking through the scare zone, like the beginning of it, it's just like kids like trick-or-treating. Halfway through you get like half transformed kids where they're like have claws and like half their faces like cat. And then you have the full cat suits that I think are super cool. I think they really are killing it with prosthetics this year. So far, literally everyone just looks so good. So really glad that they're doing so well. Again, that tells you the testament of how good the scare zones are this year, but I'm honestly not sure among the four which one's my favorite. Right, yeah. All right, next up is Jason Universe. I'm pretty scared for this one. This is what I've heard is the scariest house this year. I've heard it's very unrelenting, very dark. So we're heading in. We'll see what happens in here. Okay, I will say 100% warranted it's the scary house. I felt like we had a really, really bad run through. Like we missed a lot of the beginning scares. There was so many boo holes that had just nobody in it. So many doorways and stuff that had nobody in it. Yet the ending to that house is ruthless, dude. It's like, think Insidious, but it's just a long tunnel, a ton of curtains, and like probably like 12 Jasons in this hall with a bunch of different varieties too that I was super glad to see. There was like Bag Jason, there was, I know it was a long shot. I was really hoping for like the sci-fi Jason from Jason X. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, but it would have been really funny if it did. But I do like that it's kind of a Jason-esque house, but it's not like focused on one. Obviously with the theme being Jason Universe, that is the new name over the Jason IP. I thought it was great. I definitely want to do another run through where we get more of the scares. Definitely the scariest house so far of the night. It was like, even with us missing, I feel like more than half the scares, it was ruthless, like non-stop, just in your face scares. And the Jason actors were getting in your face. So if you're squeamish, don't do that. That's your first house. That is a lot for our first house. Well, and what could be our last fifth and final house of the night, depending on if it's actually 20 minutes, it's Galkan. This is my #1 most anticipated original, but it's pretty scary, has really fun sets, so I'm really excited to go in here. Again, if it's a little less than 20, we might be able to get out and do Hatchet and Chains or something like that, but we'll just have to see. All right, just got out of the Galkan. Definitely hit my expectations perfectly. That is a fantastic house. That has some crazy elements. Creature design in there was fantastic, like beyond fantastic, actually. I love the costumes in there. A few of the actors just look so great. Some really great scenes. I won't spoil what they are, but there are some really, really big set pieces in there. And for a tent house, that was wonderful. Like it feels Honestly, it felt very much like Blood Moon in the kind of style it was going for with the sets and stuff, but definitely its own thing. It was great. It has a really fast-paced ending with a lot of scares. Unfortunately, didn't get much scares in that house. I'm by myself now, and the group in front of me was a bunch of teenage girls, so you can guess who the scares were going to instead of me. It was quite comedic at the end when one of them almost fell on the ground and then bolted out of the house. So, I mean, comedy's always a part of it. But I still have approximately 12 minutes. I'm gonna head over to Hatchet and Chains. That was a lot quicker than I thought. It was basically a walk-in. Well, and with about 5 minutes to spare, last house of the night, Hatchet and Chain, Demon Bounty Hunters. That, if you do remember, it was a part of Slaughter Cinema last year, and they made it its own house. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. I've heard very good things. I've heard very good things about basically everything other than Grave of Flesh that I've heard okay things about. But I'm very excited that we got in 6 houses tonight, even with the crowds being as busy as it was. Okay, what a great last house to do. That one was really good. I didn't expect much out of it. I don't know, I just didn't expect a whole lot just because it's just a Slaughter Cinema section, but it was really good. I do think I missed a few scares here and there, even though I was basically walking through by myself. I do wish the bounty hunters were there more. It felt like it was primarily demons that were scaring. There was also a scene, it's not much of a spoiler, but it seemed like one of the bounty hunters was like up on a platform above and I saw him, but then didn't really seem like he was doing anything, but he was also so far up that I was like, I don't know what he could do. So I don't know, really weird. The only thing I'm gonna say about that house, there's a train in it. I won't say in what way, but the scene was really cool and unique and definitely something new for Horror Nights. Big puppets, some really great costume design once again. It's some great scares. That's another thing I'm really noticing this year. The costume design feels way better than last year, like higher quality, better designed, more intricate. Like it just feels better, man. But we're gonna be walking back up to the front because our night is over. It is 2:02. Horror Nights has ended. And I'll give you my final thoughts and some suggestions if you're coming soon. All right, well, after like 14 miles on my feet and being here most of the day, it is currently like 2:30 in the morning. So I'm definitely making my way out of here so I can get this video up. Overall, a really great first night. It really did impress me, and I'm really excited to see what we end up with for this year because it's very clear that they heard us. Last year was just very disappointing, and I'm very glad to know that they did hear us and they are doing better because so far this year is just, it's killing it. There was not a single house I did tonight that I was like, oh, that's not great, or oh, there was things in there I didn't like. Everything so far that I've done really impressed me, and all of them I really want to get back into to get better runs through because like Galkan, honestly, unfortunately was not a great run through because I had a group of teenage girls in front of me that were falling over, basically so scared, and I'm not going to get scared when that's happening. Same with Fallout. I had a decent scare run, but we did it still during the day and I could not see anything. So I definitely want to get back in there and see the sets a little bit better. But again, really great night. Definitely always suggest getting here for Stay and Scream if you do have a pass or you're here for the day. Any of that good stuff, definitely do Stay and Scream. It's 100% worth your time. The other thing I always say is try to stay until park close. I mean, you saw that I cracked out like 3 houses within the last like 35 minutes. That's always the best time to do houses. And honestly, tonight I could have done a lot more. If I wasn't hanging out with some friends and some family and stuff like that, I could have gotten through probably most of the houses tonight, even with it being so busy. Though I will say, with this year having so much more stuff, it feels like, especially with the nighttime show being back and all the new street experiences and a ton of food and stuff, I would suggest planning 2 nights if you can, just because, you know, it will be less stressful. If you're trying to do everything in one night, you'll probably have to give up a couple houses and a couple stops at food places and stuff. But again, I think the overall event this year feels great. I love that I got a solo run through of Hatchet already. that's always some of my favorite things to do. One of my biggest suggestions when you're coming to Halloween Horror Nights, if you got in some of the big houses and you're towards the end of the night, or you're like a pass holder, or this is your second night, try to do one of the smaller houses right as the park is closing. So like it hits like 155. Try to do like Hatchet and Chains, Dolls Let's Play Dead, Galkan, something like that towards the back that not as many people are going to be getting in line for at that time, because you'll get a solo run through most of the time, especially if you kind of wait in line for a second for a few people to pass you or something like I did with Hatchet and Chains. You will have a fantastic time with that. I love doing solo run throughs. You get every scare. It's such a great way to end your night. But again, I'm super excited to see how this year pans out. We'll be back tomorrow for another night. I'm going to try to get in the last 4 houses I didn't do tonight. Maybe a rerun through Fallout would be really nice, but we'll just see how it goes. Try some more food. Food this year seems great. Only big disappointment right now for me is the tribute store. I did a video talking about the tribute store already, and I just think it's a little lackluster compared to other years. And with the positioning, I understand they couldn't put it back where it normally is. It's seemingly because of Rip Ride Rocket construction, but I don't know why they couldn't have done it over in Hollywood instead. Well, I want to thank you so much for watching. Listen to me ramble on while I'm like dead tired because I've been here all day. I really appreciate you. I hope this video brought a little more joy into your day, and we'll see you guys next time.